We're back with another episode of Husker Women's Wednesday, and a special episode because we have not just one, but two guests here joining me today from Nebraska Women's Gymnastics. We have Clara, Colombo, and Martina Comin, and the team just finding out that they're headed back to the postseason. They're going to the NCAA Championships, but thank you guys both for being here.
Thank you.
Of course. Thank you for having us.
So you guys competed last year in the NCAA Championships, but you know, when you go through selection Monday, it was like the selection show was on Monday. It never gets old, right? To see the team pop up on the screen and that you're headed to compete for the NCAA Championships.
Yeah, it's honestly, it's always a nice feeling knowing that you work so hard for something that you wanted a lot. Especially coming, I think me and Martina both saw the team being at its lowest, and now it's getting up. Like, honestly, we've been doing really good, and we saw the process, and it took us a lot. So last year was the first time at regionals after a couple of years that our team didn't make it. So last year was a big deal, but honestly, this year felt the same way. Even though we were like more confident in like making it this year for sure, but it's still a pretty sweet feeling.
Yeah, it's not something you give for granted. Like, when you start preseason, obviously the goal is not like to make it to regionals, like we're aiming, higher. But then season goes how it's supposed to go. Like, you don't really, get to control that. There is things that you didn't plan for, and I mean, you never know. And so seeing it, written our name on the screen, just, I don't know,
Priceless.
felt really
yes.
great. Yeah.
So you guys have, as a team, put together some really good performances here towards the end of the season. What is starting to click? What's going into the high scores and what you guys are starting to put together here at the end of the season, Martina?
I think we're getting more confident. Obviously, there is like some events where we just, can perform, I wouldn't say better, but we're just more confident in our abilities. And I feel like floor especially has been like a constant in our whole season, and has been just amazing being able to compete without, worrying about, I don't know, not even making mistakes. We're just enjoying it, especially towards the end of season, like even this past week in a Big Tens, we're loving it. Like, you can tell finishing on floor was just, so much fun, and we are all super confident into each other's, like, I don't know, abilities. And other events are just, a little harder. There is always like something you have to work on a little bit more, but I've seen a huge like growth for like in this team, and I don't know, I'm excited to see what kind of motivation we're gonna bring to the floor, because it's more like a nothing to lose. Like, we can only do better than that. And also, I don't know, I feel like it comes down to like how much we believe in ourselves, because the skills are there.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it seems like this is just even a more confident group. Like, you guys have a lot more belief this season than what I've seen.
We definitely have a lot of talent. And I think it's clicking. It's clicking, the fact that we have what it takes to be up there like all the other teams. And it's the hardest click to have for sure. But I think it's happening, and I'm really excited for how this season is going to end, but also to watch the team next year. Now that we're building up and up from the past year, it's been a really, really good process of growth, like Martina said. But I'm really excited for regionals. I feel like we're going in way more confident, knowing that we belong there, and we work just as hard as all the other teams to be there. So with
Or
that
more.
confidence, yes, or more, we did really work our butts off. Out, I don't know, sorry. Yeah, we worked really hard for it. So I really hope we can just go out there and enjoy and do it for each other and for all the work that we put in preseason.
Martina, you've put together some career highs on multiple events this season. What's gone into your season this year, and you're kind of letting it all out there? Is it kind of knowing that this is it and leaving it all out on the floor?
Yeah.
And I know you're fully healthy too.
Yeah, I do believe it's more like this is my last shot, It's more like revenge for not having had the opportunity in my first couple of years. Last year was my first season competing both events without injuries. So it was like almost like I was a freshman last year. So this year I started from where I left last year, and I don't know, I'm loving it. I just wish I had more time, to do what I'm doing right now, just because I'm getting more confident about my gymnastics. And yeah, I'm aware that I don't have, that many opportunities left, and so I'm just leaving it all on the floor. Want to leave on a good note. So it doesn't matter the result. I don't think I was like aiming to score, higher than, but I'm having fun, and just being with the team is amazing. So.
Clara, you heard her mention the floor lineup. What's been your perspective of what that floor lineup's been able to do, really from start to finish?
Honestly, floor is party time. Like, being like from the outside, like point of view, I love like seeing floor competing. I love seeing my teammates like being so good at what they do. Just having fun and enjoying with us, enjoying with the public, with the parents whenever we compete. Whenever we go on floor, there's not a worry in my mind that they're gonna kill it. And it's been honestly amazing. It's my favorite rotation. It's not even my event, but I love it. And the best thing is that they're having fun doing it, and we have fun with them. So it's really great.
You've been a staple in the bars lineup, and we always talk about your eagle grip, and now you do some unique skills that nobody else does. How did the bars become, something that you are really good in that this team has to rely on you for?
I feel like consistency has been really key in my development as a bar worker, especially here in Nebraska. As a freshman, you come in, you do your skills, and then you start putting together routines. But being consistent is probably like the main factor. Brian, our coach on bars, he has like this quote that says "Be boring" on on our board, and I think that pretty much summarizes everything. Like, you have to come in and do your job every day, nothing more, nothing less. That's all it takes to be a good contributor for the bar lineup, and I think everybody's been doing really good on that. And I think it shows, especially in the last part of the season, we've been pretty boring, but pretty good, Mm-hmm. We've been doing pretty good. And again, I think bars and floor are our most confident event for sure. Like, we go in, we don't really have to worry about like making the routines. We're just going to go there, do our job. That's all we can do and hope for. Yeah.
I love that. Well, if you haven't noticed, they have accents. You guys come from Italy, and actually Clara was the first ever NCAA collegiate gymnast from Italy to compete in an NCAA competition from Italy. Yeah. So take us through your journey. How did you wind up in Nebraska? Because then Martina followed you. So let's hear you start first.
All right. So we don't have college sports in Italy. I think it was my last year of high school, and I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do next. And I was at a point with my gymnastics that I knew I didn't want to be done. So I was like, what should I do? Because college in Italy, it's really hard to combine with like sports at a high level. So I didn't want to stop doing gymnastics, but at the same time I wanted to study. So one of my friends, she used to go in my same high school. She was playing tennis in the US in another college. And I was talking to her randomly one day, and she said, "Oh, you should try like do this, like come do school in the States and compete in NCAA. I think you would like it." It's like, okay, sure. And I got in touch with the recruiting agency she was working with. It's an Italian agency, and they basically just help us get in touch with coaches all around the States, because we don't have a lot of information about how this works, especially in gymnastics, because again, nobody did it before, so it's not like ask people how to do it. Yeah. So when I got in touch with the recruiting agency, they were like, okay, yes, you're the first gymnast, but the process is about the same. So I started working with them, and they like started sending out emails to all the coaches around the States. Heather Brink, she got in touch with me. She came to visit me in Italy, actually, which was crazy to me. And then I had a good feeling with her. The people from the agency were like, I think this is a good fit. Like, Nebraska is a great school. I had no idea like what I was gonna get into. I always say this, but I did pick Nebraska because I like the color red. But and I was like, sure. Like I looked up like the leotards, like, oh, they're pretty. Like that's literally what went through my mind when I made this choice. And it turned out to be the greatest experience of my life. And there's so many stories from people like on our team that transferred that had terrible stories at their previous schools, and I'm like, I got so lucky to end up in a place where people care about you, they support you, they respect you, and they just want your best every day. So that's basically how it happened. I signed the contract, and I think it was end of May, beginning of June, and I was here in August.
Wow. So then how much did her being here play a role in you coming here?
So my journey started with my mom. She one day decided that I didn't even know this was an option. The first time I heard of college gymnastics was when I saw on the TV on the news the girl from UCLA that got a 10, and I was like, oh, that's cool, like nice. I knew about UCLA, but I had no idea what being a student athlete, in the States meant. And my mom offered me to just start, searching and looking, and then I saw after that Clara came here, and then our journeys actually crossed the first time when the agent that followed her was following me too, texted me and was like, Heather Brink from Nebraska is interested in you. And I was like, what? I thought it wasn't good enough. I was talking to D3, D2 schools because I had no idea if my gymnastics level was good enough. And that day was the first day I talked to Clara ever, besides when we're very young kids at a summer camp. But, and so then, I knew Clara was at Nebraska, but when I started the process, I had no idea. If my mom didn't push the whole process and didn't really motivate me to do it, because I kind of didn't believe that was going to be possible, I had an A plan, which was Italian University. So I was already enrolled in that before the agent kind of, put me in contact with Heather, and that was pretty much the same. But yeah, it's just crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
What were some of the biggest adjustments that you guys went through, going from competing in Italy and just with the, international teams at the national level, and then having to adjust, and now you're doing all the things that come along with being a student athlete in America?
I've never been national team member in Italy, so I don't have that experience. But for me, it was more competing-wise. Actually, training is the main difference. It's so much more structured than what I was used to, and that's how you build the consistency that we were talking about. The facility is a big difference too. I didn't have a floor in my gym for the longest time, so I would just straight compete at a meet. It's just crazy to think about it. But now, obviously, you have all this, practice on your shoulders. Then when you compete, you're just, again, having fun, performing. But that's the main difference. Quality over quantity, definitely, in the States here. You're not just throwing skills, you are doing them perfect. So that's the main difference. And then with meets, probably, it's more like a show,
Oh, yeah.
Just fun and, yeah.
Yeah, I think college sports in general, but specifically with gymnastics, you put a team aspect on it that we didn't have in Italy. We have team championships, clubs. They're pretty big in Italy actually, but it's still an individual sport. Here, it doesn't really matter how you do as long as a team succeed. That's what matters the most. You gotta be a team player before you're anything else. So I honestly loved it, and I think that was the best way that I could end my gymnastics career, because again, you start you're so little and you get so competitive what you do, and in an environment where it's just mainly individual, sometimes you lose track of how fun is supposed to be sport. Mm-hmm. So coming here just put a totally different light on gymnastics and fun and just enjoying the sport itself, that honestly, if I would go back, I would do it all over again. Yeah.
I feel like people also forget that it's a full-time job. Besides the physical practice, there is so much more that goes into be a student athlete, but especially like a gymnast, because there's strategy, there is, you know, like, I don't know, a lot of
planning.
Yeah, planning and scheduling, and I don't know, there is a lot of mental work that goes into that. So it's interesting because it was almost like a part-time job for me back home, and now it's like a full-time job. So that's the main,
totally
like
agree.
you're doing it at a professional level. Not that you weren't before, but again, there wasn't this kind of structure, and I love the structure. So.
Well, I also feel like back home we didn't have the facility and the resources that we have here to have that kind of structure. Because like here, like Martina said, it goes way beyond just a single practice. We have nutrition that we have to think about. We have like rehab, like taking care of our bodies. Like I did not have that kind of support back home. Like I was just doing me, like back home with my family, and that was enough.
Yeah.
Until I came here and I realized that what we have here in Nebraska, like it's insane. We have people taking care of literally everything, that their job is to make us successful in what we do, which is insane to me.
Yeah.
So what was it like when you went to your first college football game?
I don't even remember.
Yeah, because that was during COVID for you.
They didn't do that my freshman year, so I was mind blown. Like the balloons, the amount of people. I've never been a soccer fan. Soccer in Italy is like equivalent of football here, and I know it's like pretty big anyway. But for like a college team, that was crazy to me. Yeah,
that is crazy.
Yeah,
I thinking that like 90,000 people just show up every weekend just to watch a game. Like again, like we don't have American football, so I didn't even know the rules. I was just like,
don't know them.
I tried my best, but I'm not interested enough, I feel like. But no, it's crazy. It's the fan base. That's one thing that it's mind-blowing every time.
Yeah, but everything that goes into that. Like, again, the balloons, the cheerleader team. Cheerleading was mind-blowing to me. The halftime,
the band,
yeah.
The band. I love the
band. The red hot dogs. Like, it's just so much. So much more that you could, like, you know, when they say in movies, like American, you know, it's more than that. Like, it's actually so accurate, but it's even more. So
it is crazy.
Extreme level. It's a lot for us to process, honestly. But it's all very, like, exciting. It's, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, it's amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So when you guys, you know, come here to have each other, how helpful has it been? How special has it been to be able to go through this together? I've heard you guys just got a really special relationship.
Yeah. Well, okay, I'll just say this. So my freshman year, she wasn't here. And but when she came my sophomore year and her freshman year, that for me was really, really helpful, because I was the only international gymnast on the team. And I didn't have like a lot of people outside of the team that I knew, because again, I spoke the language, but you know, like when you come here, you think you speak English, but you don't. Like, it takes a while to get used to it. I was really shy, really quiet. And I think having Martina really helped me kind of get out of my shell and be like, okay, like she can relate to everything that I know that people here might not know and like share the same way that I do. So for me, it was really, really helpful. And like that just helped us build a relationship that goes, I think, way deeper than just being friends. I think consider Martina like my sister. She's like my family here. So, yeah, it's gonna be tough next year to not have her like every day. So,
Yeah, for me, I mean, obviously I would have survived, but like having like a guide, you know, guidance in anything I was supposed to do, you know, first day we got here, she took me around Lincoln, like walking around. She was like, this is a union, this is a library. Because obviously with COVID, we didn't even get a tour. We didn't, you know. So I would have been very lost, honestly. And just, I didn't know anything. Like, I didn't know what, again, being a gymnast here meant, what the name of the skills in gymnastics were, what, I don't know, how to find a building on campus, how to do, like, it has been so much easier. And I wouldn't say I gave it for granted, but obviously every time I needed something, Clara was there to tell me, because she did it the year before. And so obviously very grateful. And then it was interesting to see how our relationship grew. Like, again, she was like my mom for the first probably semester, and then I don't know, I feel like I became a little bit of her
No,
mom.
she's my mom.
We went through tough moments, but again, it goes beyond, coming from the same culture. It's not like we like the same food and we speak the same language, but it's more like a safe space where you can share what you're going through. Like, we find weird some things that for Americans are normal, for example. So like, with any international, it's easier to have this sort of conversations, but obviously coming from the same country made the difference. So, I don't know. I could have never imagined this, experience without her.
Yes, I think it made it just way more fun, way more meaningful. And, when they say, like, you can share something good with someone, it just multiplicates, like, the overall success of it. And I think it's true. I think I would have done half the things that I did here without Martina, so.
Yeah, and I mean, we're lucky that we kind of get along. Like, naturally, we are very, like...
compatible. We're pretty compatible.
Yeah, we're really, I don't know, both people person and just get along. But with everything we shared, it would have been anyway, Like, we could have not picked to be friends anyway, but we're lucky that we actually get along really well, so...
Yeah.
Do you guys speak Italian to each other?
Yeah.
It's kind of weird. Sometimes I don't know, maybe we're surrounded by people and we realize they don't really care about the conversation, so we switch. Or like, she's like, why are you speaking in English to me? I'm like, yeah, you're right. I don't know.
It is a bit weird. Yeah.
Have you taught the team any Italian?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they know a little bit. Our roommates especially, they
Yes.
hear more often, but...
Yeah.
For you said you came in shy and quiet, but now you're involved in a lot of different things outside of just competing with gymnastics. How was that to evolve into that, and why was that important for you to start being involved in that?
Well, I feel like looking back, I see myself as a totally different person. I was almost like a kid when I came here. Like, I had so much growth and so much development that, again, I went through highs and lows, but that's just how it works. And to me, finding a space that I could be like myself and like finding out different things about myself. And I think Nebraska offered me with so many opportunities to do that, not just like with gymnastics, with school too. Like, I came here, was undecided. I was engineering for one semester, changed my mind. Like, now I'm graduating with a biochemistry degree. And like, it gave me the space to figure out who I am as a person. And again, I was pretty quiet, but now I kind of found my voice throughout these past 5 years. And honestly, it's been a really amazing journey for me. I look back and I'm really proud for the growth that I allowed myself to do. I put myself out there in tough situation, and I'm really proud I did, because it taught me a lot. And yeah, I wouldn't be the same person that I am now without Nebraska, without the people that were there throughout the process and that helped me kind of like guide me where I wanted to go. So it's been amazing, yeah.
That's very cool. Would you say she was shy and quiet when you got here?
Yeah.
I don't know, because I feel like the language was her main barrier.
Yeah.
I'm a very extroverted person, so I feel like when she saw how open I was when I got here, besides the language barrier, she immediately let go. So I never really met freshman year Clara. And again, speaking in Italian, it's like different. Like, she wasn't shy with me. I was the talkative one, our first flight together, definitely, but I made her talk. Like, I make sure people around me, I love learning, and obviously I knew I had 24 hours of trip to get to know her as best as I could. So
yeah, we left, didn't know anything about each other, and then after 24 hours of flights, layovers and stuff, we covered everything. It was like, okay, we're good.
Yeah, I wouldn't say she's introverted. I think it was like
I think it was an environment issue.
She felt like maybe she couldn't open up. And again, it's hard to do it in a different language.
So we just heard her talk about how much she's changed and grown. What has being a Nebraska Cornhusker, how has that changed you, and how are you leaving differently than when you got here?
Well, I have completely changed as well. I feel like being put in a not comfortable environment just pushes you, to find solutions and, change and adapt. And this has been the biggest opportunity for me to become a better version of myself. Honestly, if I could go back, I would change some things. Honestly, the injuries are the worst part of my journey, if I have to be honest. But at the same time, without the injuries, I would have not, put all the effort in everything else that goes into being a student athlete. I feel like I've always taken so much care of my academics that it became almost like a new goal when gymnastics wasn't there for me. And same with life and skills and giving back to the community. I've found so much love in getting involved in those kind of activities. And same with leadership groups. I've tried every group that the life skill department offers, and I just love doing it. And that taught me even more than what gymnastics probably was gonna give to me anyway. But yeah, I feel like I learned that I'm more than capable of overcoming those kind of obstacles, and I'm really grateful for the people that were around there to help, because obviously when you just are not able to do what you love the most, like I came here for gymnastics, so when gymnastics went missing, I was definitely struggling, but I don't know, just trusting the process, that has helped a lot. And yeah, I would do it all over again.
Have you guys seen that, because you mentioned that, you were the first, you were the second, that now back in Italy, maybe the doors opened a little bit more, and maybe they've seen that this is possible?
Mm-hmm. Well, there was another girl that came after Martina. She went to Iowa State. She had some health issues too, so she couldn't compete. But that was a sign that other people wanted to do it. And honestly, I think the main issue in Italy when it comes to college gymnastics in the US is lack of information. So I feel like both me and Martina, when we go back, we could get involved in kind of spreading the word a little bit, because it's such an amazing opportunity. And when people don't know it's there, they won't do it. It's not because people don't want to do it or they're scared. There's so many good gymnasts that maybe don't make the national team, because in Italy, again, without college, all that it's there, it's the national team. But guess what? It's only 6 people that make it. What about all the rest? So I really hope that we can go back and maybe, I don't know, figure out something with the federation just to put it out there and be like, hey, you don't have to be a national team gymnast to maximize your potential with the sport, and you can go invest on your life. You can go get a degree while you have fun doing the sport that you love. You learn a different language. It's such an amazing opportunity, and we just need to show that to people. So I really hope we can kind of get invested once we go back in that, because we don't really have time, or we're not there to do it right now. But I think it's something that it's possible, and I would be really happy to just inspire other people in that, because
Yeah, we've been working a lot trying to reach out. I personally reached out to someone that didn't even care, just because I thought she was going to be a perfect fit. And a lot of feedback is but I'm not that good in English. And I'm like, I was not good. Not that now I'm perfect, but obviously you just have to be a little bit crazy enough, to do the first step and just throw yourself into this, because it's scary. It's not, again, I had no idea what to expect, but you have to be a little crazy, But at the same time, it's kind of hard because, like Clara said, obviously gymnastics is not as big as it is in the States, and if you're really, really good, you're aiming to a higher level, which is probably national team, Olympics. If you're not really, really good around that age, you don't tend to be better. You don't get better at gymnastics, so it's kind of hard
Yeah.
to, you know,
And then to quit at some point, like when you start college again, it's really hard to combine those things for the way college in Italy is structured.
Yeah.
So some of the gymnasts just stop doing gymnastics because it's not worth it anymore.
Yeah. But also, for example, I thought I wasn't good enough because I had no idea what that meant. Like, what did I have to be able to do in order to be a good Division I gymnast, you know? Mm-hmm. So I remember I was watching meets, like, when Heather texted me, I was like, putting up, like, YouTube videos of past competition. I was like, okay, I can do that. Okay, I know how to do. Like, I was just checking because I had no idea what kind of level was required. Mm-hmm. And Clara and me, we do opposite events. So, like, I couldn't really relate to her because obviously my bar level wasn't like hers and vice versa. So I had no idea what I was supposed to do. But obviously, being more informed, like, you would get a better understanding if you're a good fit for a specific division or in general to do this. Yeah.
We have a YouTube channel and we like upload vlogs about like how competition work or like media
we
day.
had something like that to look to. It was
It's something that we do for, first of all, for us. Like, we like the idea to, I don't know, sit down, have a cup of tea in like, I don't know, 10, 15 years and go watch those videos and laugh about it. But I feel like it's also a great platform that we have, like, for younger gymnasts that maybe follow us and be like, oh, they have a YouTube channel, let's see what they do. And then they see like how it works. And I don't know, I just think it would probably spark an interest in me to be like, oh, this is pretty cool, you know?
Yeah.
So we're trying to do whatever we can.
What's the name? Where can people find it?
Well, it's all in Italian.
Okay.
But there's subtitles in YouTube. So.
Yeah, but also
actually,
like...
it's bilingual.
It's bilingual.
When we travel, there is anyone in the video too.
It's
What is it
called Clara and Marti.
Okay, we'll have to check it in the comments.
Okay, yes.
Check it out.
What does it mean anything to you at this point to have been the first? I mean, not very many people can say that, you know, and to be the first in NCAA Women's College Gymnastics.
Well,
it might be more later on, but I just, you know, at this point.
well, I feel like I don't necessarily see a big impact yet, in a sense that like Martina was the second one, and then there was the third one, but it's more like, I mean, it's a great honor. Like that's pretty cool to say, I think. Like, if I have to present myself, like, that's a pretty cool thing to say, I guess. I'm just really happy that I could do something that I'm really proud of. Because, again, it's scary. Like, it takes a lot to be like, okay, I'm just going to go live on the other side of the world for, like, 4 years, and then ended up being 5. But, you know, it takes a while. So I'm really proud of myself for doing that, for sure. But I think it will be way more meaningful if, in the long run, a lot of more people start doing it. Yeah. And, like, it would just be like, okay, like, I know I gave them an opportunity, or, like, the idea of having an opportunity. I started it, at least, like... So that would be really cool, I guess. So
on senior night, you guys are both honored a couple weeks ago, and they played the Italian national anthem. Your families were here, right, too? I mean, just take me back to that moment and describe it, the emotions, how it felt.
I remember we were joking about, like, we asked, like, Heather probably a couple years ago, like, any way we can play, you know, but we knew it was going to be a no, just because, obviously, like, the American national anthem is a big deal before every, you know.
Already having the flags up.
Yeah, we started putting up
deal.
the flags last year, which was already like a lot for us. We're really proud of being Italian, in case you guys didn't get that. But we, again, joked about it. And I remember about a month before senior night, I mentioned it to Brian, our bar coach, and he was like, you don't worry about it. And I was like, wait, like, we're going to do it? Like, and so... they actually told us they were going to do it, but when it happened, I started crying immediately.
It was surreal.
Being there and being with the families, too, and we're like, I wonder how many other people were able to play the Italian national anthem in Nebraska. Like, probably nobody, honestly. So it was really nice, and also seeing the team so supportive of this, you know, part of our character, which is, like, very important to us, is amazing, yeah.
No, it was crazy. Every time that I look at the video, I like almost cry, because I don't know. We were just there, like hugging each other, and
So surreal.
It was
Like, it's
surreal.
just,
Like,
you know.
and we were standing right in front of our parents, our families, and they were singing the anthem like back to us, and we were singing out loud. And I don't know, it was just crazy. I've never experienced my national anthem like that before, because I feel like in the States, the national anthem, it's a big deal. In Italy, it is a big deal, but like not as big as
You
here.
don't hear it as often either. So
Yes, it's not that big of a deal. So like making it that big of a deal, but like having so much meaning, and it was senior night, and it was just like our moment for that. I don't know, 1 minute and 30 seconds. I don't know how long that is, but yeah, it was crazy.
It was a catchy tune. I liked it.
I know it's a good.
It's
national
a
anthem.
probably-
I felt so honored. Honestly, everyone was just there for us, like respectfully, respecting our moment. And again, it doesn't happen every day, you know, and it's a big part of us. And we were really happy we got to share it. So
That's amazing.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you know, just kind of closing the chapter, you guys are about to go compete for the final time as Huskers as you head to the NCAA Championships. Sorry.
Maybe
is it
not.
again yet?
Maybe not.
Maybe not.
Well, I mean,
maybe not.
I guess the journey begins.
Yes.
As
Yes.
you wind out your career. I just feel like the last
Last push.
push. Yes.
There you go.
But for the team and going into, you know, the regional at Arkansas, what's the mindset? What do you guys need to do? You know, you were there last year, you got a taste of it, but to maybe, you know, advance and take another step here this time around.
Wanna go?
Yeah, sure. Clara mentioned this in the gym the other day, and it's pretty accurate. And I think that last year we thought we didn't belong to, you know, the NCAA tournament. We were really like happy and proud to be there, but we were very like intimidated by the other teams, and we thought we didn't have a shot. And so we went there, we did our job, but obviously it was just, it ended there, you know. And this year, most of the team already experienced it, so it's not a new thing for the whole team. And we are on a roll of good meets, one after the other. So we are on a, you know, left on a good note the not preseason, but the season. And I don't know. I don't know what we need to do, but I'm just very excited for it.
Yeah.
Just gotta believe in ourselves, honestly.
Yeah.
It just goes down to that.
Well, I feel like going back to not feeling like we belong and stuff, like we built so much confidence during this season that for me, I don't really care how it's gonna go to me and if we make it to the next round or if we make it like more than that or if we don't. As long as we go there feeling like we are maximizing what we can do and we go there and we feel like we belong there and we are confident in what we do, we have fun in what we do, and we just own it, like, and we're just like, okay, we're here, you know what, we're just gonna roll with it and we're just gonna go out there, like doing what we know what to do. Like that to me would be the best case scenario, and if the result comes with it, then that's even better. If it doesn't, it's fine. And especially because last year we didn't end on a good note at regionals. It wasn't our best meet. So just going out there and doing a better meet than what we did last time would really be a success, I would say. But I want to go out there and just like own it, do it for each other, with each other. That's my goal. And I think the team is pretty on track with that.
Yeah, we're ready.
I'm ready after that.
I'm so
Maybe
excited.
you should give the pre-meet speech.
Yeah, we have like our own things. Yeah.
Well, thank you both so much.
Of course,
it's
thank
been just so great to watch your careers since I've been here, and you guys are awesome, and I can see why y'all are so well loved within that program. So, Martina Comin, Clara Colombo with Nebraska
you
Women's
so
Gymnastics. Best of luck again. They're headed to Arkansas for the regional. They'll take on Arkansas, Kentucky, and Arizona. Thanks for listening to this episode of Husker Women's Wednesday. Husker Women's Wednesday is powered by Emeritus, who's proud to power this podcast and all of Husker women's sports.